front. I apologize. Good evening, good afternoon. How are you doing, patrons everywhere? Good everywhere. I hope you guys are enjoying your New Year's Day. I hope not many of you are suffering from the dreaded hangover. And I hope you guys had a good night last night. You didn't blow your hands off or anything like that with fireworks. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. As always, this is the Jess and Hardcover news show that we do once a week to you Patreon subscribers. And as always, we have Jess Bragg.
Yo, how's it going, Hardcover?
I'm doing well. How about you?
So far, so good. 2017 hasn't sucked yet.
Not yet. Not yet, but it's only
Yes.
day one. It's only day one, so we'll see. We can only go up from here, right?
Right.
You know, it could get worse, could get better. We'll see. But so far, no celebrities have died, nothing like
Right.
that. You know, so the nuclear holocaust hasn't happened yet. We're good to go so far, thankfully. I think as long as we make it through like the first 2 months without a popular celebrity or world changer dying, I think we'll be good. I think 2016 will shape up. 17, good lord, 17 will shake up to be a better year.
Let's hope so.
And as you can tell, I am in my bedroom because my fiance is watching a movie. And if you hear anything in the background, it's because she's watching something or playing something. I'm not even sure what she's doing at this point. But I digress. So we've been gone for what, like 2 weeks, a week? We haven't done the news show.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, we've been so busy lately between the holidays and everything like that. And that's mostly on me. I apologize. I know Jess has been like, yeah, I'm good whenever, but it's on me. I've just been so busy with moving and everything. So the first thing we're going to touch on is Carrie Fisher dying, which is absolutely tragic. I mean, Princess Leia herself. I just finished watching Rogue One, and I had a friend
No.
who, after she passed, he saw Rogue One for the first time, and he said he watched that ending scene. Spoilers for those of you that haven't seen Rogue One, but he watched the ending scene, and he was crying because it was
That
like,
was
wow.
me.
Oh, was you? That was you. Yeah. Yeah. You, because you watched it after her death, and
Yeah,
you
I
see
saw it.
her.
I saw it Wednesday, last week, Wednesday, and yeah, it's a big spoiler, but you see her sort of CGI character. It's the very final scene, and you see her, and I mean, I just started sobbing
Yeah.
right there at the end of the movie because she looked so young and so vital, and she was not old. She was only 60, and to die of a heart attack so young is just it's just a tragic waste of life to me. Well, not waste of life, but I mean, I'm sure she had so many more productive, happy years ahead of her, and it
Right.
just seems like a life cut short. And it just hit me right in the heart when I saw her at the end of that movie that we had just lost her. And it really, I'm surprised how much it affected me. And then on the other hand, I'm not surprised because I cry at everything in movies anyway. So I cried at the last scene in Force Awakens, and I cried at this last scene, and I probably teared up at a couple other parts in Rogue One. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a serious blow, I think, to people in general to lose somebody of her stature.
Oh, it's absolutely tragic. I mean, and she's always been an outspoken activist for bipolar disorder because she was bipolar as well.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yes. So it's really, really tragic to see. And 60 years old, that's nothing at this day and age. That's super young, all things considered. I mean, you got Stan Lee who's pushing 92 right now and still doing the con circuit.
Yeah.
So to die that young is just crazy. And then her mom dies like 2 days later. It's
Right.
like, oh my gosh, it was a sad way to end 2016. And I felt so bad for her. The last film that we will see her in is actually episode 8. She's going to be in it.
Okay. They
She,
finished all the primary footage of
mhm,
that.
She finished all her scenes of episode 8. Everything she was going to do in episode 8 is done. And everything is good to go. They don't have to do reshoots or anything like that. So she's going to be in it. And apparently she plays a really prominent role in episode 8.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's gonna be a send off to her, which they're gonna probably put something at the end or at the beginning saying, in loving memory of Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, sure.
They're gonna have to do something like that. I mean, I woke up because I took a nap and then I saw the news. I was like, oh my gosh, because you heard like 2 days before
Right.
she's ill, but she's in stable condition. Everything seems to be fine, and just like that, really sad story.
Did you ever see the movie Postcards from the Edge?
I have not.
That's her autobiography, sort of. She wrote it as like a fictionalized autobiography, and she wrote it, and it got turned into a movie with Meryl Streep playing her and Shirley
Hmm.
MacLaine playing Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah.
It is a great movie. I highly recommend you and your fiance would both like watching it. Meryl Streep does a great job. It's funny and heartbreaking and
Hmm.
warm and really good. But I
Oh,
would, yeah, that's a great story about Carrie Fisher in Postcards from the Edge.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I mean, it kind of broke my heart in a little bit because I think in a lot of way Carrie Fisher was that generation's like geek girl. Like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. You saw her as Princess
My
Leia.
generation. That's right. She was only 3 years older than I was. So
Really?
I am, yeah. So she's a year
What?
younger than my wife. My
Jess,
wife,
you are not pushing 60.
thank you. I don't think so.
You don't look it.
I'm backing up 50 is what I'm doing.
Man, you do not look it. You look good for your age, dude.
Thank you.
But it's man, I mean, just hearing that, I'm like, holy crap. That
Yeah,
sucks.
that is it's and especially seeing her in Rogue One. I mean, I just lost it.
Yeah, and they did a good job. They did a good job of recapturing her youth in Rogue One.
Yeah,
It's getting there. It's getting there where it's to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, as far as when they recopy somebody when they're dead or anything like that. Like I told you, General Tarkin was a
yeah,
complete CGI character. You didn't even really realize it.
right. I was surprised to see him in
Mhm.
that, delighted to see him in that, and of course, Darth Vader, his scene. I just want to see the outtakes of his scenes a million times. It was so boss. Those were such great scenes that he was in. I just loved it.
Oh yeah, Darth Vader. Darth Vader cutting loose at the. It's like they gave
Oh, I
him his ball.
know.
It's like they gave him his balls back. That's the best way that I could explain it.
I mean, he was just taking no shit from anybody. It was just like he was so badass. Now you know why he was so feared.
In my opinion, okay, this is just it kind of puts a new perspective of when he's fighting Qui not
Luke?
Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan.
Oh, Obi-Wan.
Because if he can do all that to Obi-Wan, he's just kind of playing with Obi-Wan then.
Well, Obi-Wan was a Jedi, even though he was an old Jedi, and those other guys were just soldiers. But
Yeah.
so he may have had a little bit more of a
Mhm.
struggle with Obi-Wan. But do you think he was just playing around with Luke?
He might have been holding back. He knows it's his son.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
I don't know. I just think it kind of puts, and this is just my crazy fan theory, a little bit of a more perspective of why you see him as this overpowered badass. He's going down this hallway, he's slamming people in the roof, which that was hilarious to me. You see the one guy who's like crushed up on the roof, and then
Yeah,
he's one-handing the lightsaber. I was like, oh my gosh.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely the craziest he's been.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're more analytical than I am. I just take things at face value. So I think that you're probably right. I hadn't thought about it before, but I think you're right. By showing that kind of power, it does show he was holding back on, you know, his former mentor Obi-Wan and his son. You're probably right.
I just thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, moving on. Speaking of movies, and I know you're excited about this because
I'm excited and afraid.
Alien Covenant, that new trailer. Oh my gosh, right?
it's
Right?
it scared the heck out of me. Just the trailer. I mean, the trailer got me so on edge. I had to go outside and take a deep breath in the cold air. I mean, it was freaking freaky. That preview was, I mean, incredibly tense.
I know.
Just from start to finish, it was just like, oh my God, I don't know if my heart can take this movie.
Oh my, I know, right? Oh wow. Like I'm watching the trailer and I'm like, the guy's freaking out and he's twitching and then all of a sudden his back cracks and you see like the blood. I was like, oh my gosh, it looks great.
That woman gets locked in the room with him and the other woman wouldn't let her out, and you can just feel the panic in the that's all I felt through the whole movie was the panic that they were all going through. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that did a good job of conveying panic to me, because now I'm all panicked out.
Now, have you seen Prometheus? You haven't seen Prometheus, correct?
No, on your suggestion, I did download it, but I haven't watched it yet, and I definitely want to.
I like Prometheus. I like it a lot. A lot of diehard Alien fans, they're not crazy about it.
Okay.
But I really enjoy it. I think it adds a lot to the mythos. I really dig Prometheus. It's got its problems like anything else, but it's a really fun movie. In fact, I watched it again the other night because my fiance had never seen it, and we sat down and watched it, and I dug the hell out of Prometheus.
Okay, well, that's a good enough recommendation for me. I definitely will watch it this week.
It's not as scary as Alien. It's more of like your stereotypical sci-fi movie where they're exploring the alien universe and they're adding things to it, and you get to see the space jockeys and things like that.
Well, it can't be as scary as the preview of the new Alien movie. That's the scariest preview I've ever seen. I mean, my heart was pounding.
When the alien is sticking his tail and they're in the shower together, I was like, oh my God. Instant. Wow. I'm like, that dude got cock blocked so hard. I feel so bad for that guy.
Yeah. And his blood all over the woman.
Oh. Now, are you a fan of the original Alien?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love the first two.
And the chest burster?
Yeah. I love the first two. I saw number 3. Don't think I ever saw number 4. Wait, what was number 4 called? It was Aliens.
Resurrection?
Resurrection. Okay, I never saw that just because I don't think it got good reviews. But I could go back and rewatch it and probably be happy. Because I loved the first 2.
Oh, the first 2 are a classic.
Yeah.
First one is a horror movie. The second one is a great action movie where they're fighting a whole bunch of them on the planet.
Yeah.
Really great movie. James Cameron. One of James Cameron's earlier films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think he did Terminator after that, if I'm not mistaken.
Did he do both Terminators? 1 and 2?
He did both 1 and 2.
Okay.
The only ones that matter as far as I'm concerned.
Right. I have not heard. Those are the only 2 I've seen.
Don't watch anymore.
I don't need to. Again, have dodged the bad Terminator movies.
How are you so good at dodging terrible movies?
I've managed to dodge most bad movies.
How? Okay, and in its defense, Terminator Salvation, which is the 4th one, not a bad film. Not a great film, but not a terrible movie.
Now, who was in that one?
That was with Christian Bale.
Oh, that was the Christian Bale one. Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. It was not a bad movie.
Okay, I'll watch that.
It has its ups, you know. It's not great, but it's at best.
Okay.
3 and 5 are just garbage. Like nobody should watch those.
Okay. Yeah, I did see 3, and I haven't seen 5.
Was not a fan of 3.
Okay. Yeah, no, me neither.
The femme Terminator.
Right.
Oof.
Yeah, that was weird.
But Ridley Scott is going back to basically the universe he started. And I really like this. I think honestly once you see Prometheus, you'll really, really dig it. And I'm excited to see where this one goes, because this leads right into Prometheus, and Alien Covenant leads into another one, which leads into the first Alien film. So he's got 3 movies planned. He's got,
okay.
Yeah, he had Prometheus, he's got Alien Covenant, and he's got one more, and that's going to lead into the first Alien movie.
Oh, okay. It's going to be a prequel to the first Alien movie, which I guess Prometheus is.
Prometheus is as well. Prometheus, okay. Alien Covenant, and the next Alien movie that he's working on they're all prequels to the first.
They're all prequels. Okay, good. Yeah. Got it.
He's also working on a new Blade Runner movie. The trailer came out for that, which
Oh, I haven't seen the trailer. I read about the movie.
it's, I'm
It was like Blade Runner 2049 or something.
something like that. Yeah, I mean, Blade Runner happens to be one of my well, not one of my favorite sci-fi film of all time. Not my favorite film, but my favorite sci-fi film of all time. So I'm curious to see them revisiting that. Well, I don't know how that's gonna go, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. I need to see the new cleaned up director's cut, extended stay, whatever it is. The whole. I know it got re-released in a brand spanking new package. I need to see that.
Oh, it's been Blade Runner's been released like a ridiculous amount of times. There's
Yeah,
the
that's
final
right.
cut, there's the director's cut, there's the international cut. There's like a whole bunch of different cuts for the film, but I think most people agree that the definitive version is the final cut.
The final cut. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what
that's
I'll
the one.
watch.
That's the one you need to watch.
Okay.
So, but moving on, we've got more news. Jeff Johns is coming back to comics. Now, Jeff Johns has been away from comics for about a year now because he's been focusing more on the TV and movie side. The last thing he did was the DC Rebirth special. And what a way to announce his comeback, because he announced it with a picture of Dr. Manhattan. Now, for those of you that don't know, Dr. Manhattan is one of the main characters of The Watchmen. He is essentially a god, and rumor has it, this is all speculation, that Dr. Manhattan is the reason we have the DC universe, and he's the reason we got the New 52, and he was meddling and all that stuff. But I am super excited to see Jeff Johns come back to comics.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't. I collect stuff in collected editions now, so I don't know a lot about singles and stuff. So I didn't really know he was gone. So I I think it's great because I love Jeff Johns' work, and
Mhm.
if he's coming back and he's got some really cool ideas, that sounds great to me. I just haven't caught up on Rebirth yet because it hasn't been released in collected editions yet. But um, yeah, I don't know that Jeff Johns has written a comic book that I haven't loved. I can't think of one off the top of my head. So I'm
Mhm.
very excited for that.
Have you read his Avengers run?
No, I have it, but it's one of the 80% backlog that I have that I haven't finished yet. So I have to, I definitely have to read that.
I've heard his Avengers run is not that good. That was Jeff Johns when he first started working in comics. Like one of the very first things that he wrote, and I've heard it's kind of it's not that
Huh.
good.
Okay.
But then he eventually went on DC Comics, and then he wrote what, in my opinion, is the definitive run of Green Lantern. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's just, it can't be topped. I think he expanded the scope of Green Lantern to new
Oh my.
heights.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. With all the various lantern colors and
Mhm.
everything. When I first heard about that, I was like, what are you talking about? There's like Green Lantern and there's Sinestro and that's it. What? It was such an odd concept, and yet he made it work so well.
He really did. I
The
mean,
whole thing was brilliant. Yeah.
he struck gold with that, with the different kind of emotions and the different. The thing
Right.
is, it's such a simple idea. You wonder why nobody else had done it before. Like, expanding the different cores and expanding the different colors and things like that. Using the spectrum, red being anger, and you getting like an angry little kitty that vomits on people with hate. Uh,
Right.
but it really is one of those ideas that the minute that it was announced, everybody went, "Duh," you know. It,
Yeah.
and
What?
I still remember that summer when it was first announced, all the different cores and stuff like that. Everybody was wearing different T-shirts. Everybody was representing their cores, and it was really cool.
Well, my favorite's Larfleeze. I just love the avarice and how he loves Christmas and stuff. I just
Oh
I
my
just crack
god,
up at that.
the
Um,
Larfleeze Christmas one special is amazing.
yeah, I love that. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think it could have happened any sooner than it did. I think it's one of those things where it was a time and a place where it was right that DC's editorial board said, "Okay, try it and let's see what happens." It's certain. I don't see it happening any earlier than it did. I think it's just it happened exactly when it could, and he was the perfect guy for it. You're exactly right about that.
Yeah, sometimes you get that perfect combination of like a writer, artist, and timing, and you just get great books. Watchmen is a great example of that. Frank Miller's Dark Knight, another great example of that. It's just timing, and DC over Marvel, I would say, is better at this stuff because if you look at the overall catalog, I would argue that DC has more classics than Marvel does.
If you're talking like Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns and things like that, yeah, I
Yeah.
would agree with that. And to me, that now that you say that, to think that DC back in the mid '80s let Dark Knight Return and Watchmen get published, that was, I looking back on it, it was. I think that's pretty radical that they even let that happen, especially taking a character like Batman and letting Frank Miller do what he did with him, which was groundbreaking at the time. And I were you even alive then?
When Watchmen came out,
Yeah,
what year was Watchmen?
1986, like 1986.
No, I was born in '89.
Well, I was there for it, so I can promise you it was a big deal coming off of late '70s, early '80s comics. Early '80s DC comics were dreck. They were just blah. There was nothing going on in them, and for I and that's why Dark Knight Returns. I mean, it shouldn't have been allowed to be published, and he shouldn't have been allowed to be able to do those things he did because it was so radical. And um, that's why hats off to DC. They do a lot of dumb things. DC does, but and then all of a sudden they do something crazy smart like DC Rebirth, um, the Green Lantern Spectrum things, and Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen. I mean, Watchmen was one of the oddest, most interesting collection of singles I ever had. I was just, leafing through it every month that it came out, um, and just dying to see where it was going because I had never read anything like it. And I had been reading comics since the early 60s. As you can tell with my gray beard, that I've been reading comics a long time. So that it's always surprising to me when something major happens. And if Jeff Johns wants to put Dr. Manhattan in charge or something, I don't know what they're going to do, but to even suggest Dr. Manhattan has a hand in this is amazing to me.
Yeah, it's because at the end of Watchmen, spoilers for like almost 30-year-old book. At the end of Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan says, "I'm going away. I'm going to go start a new universe." That's basically what he says. And the theory right now is that that universe is the DC universe, and he is essentially God.
Right.
Now, I went actually to a local comic book store this past week because everybody and their mom is jumping on the Valiant train on the Facebook. It's incredible how like a 5-minute conversation that we all had, and we joked around. We're like, "Oh yeah, this year is the year for Valiant." And I'm gonna pick up a few books for Valiant, yada yada. Next morning, Valiant hit the group like a wildfire. It was absolutely nuts. But I went to go pick up some Valiant books, and I was talking to the guy at the comic book store that he was at this local store, which by the way was actually really cool because they had used books, and I got 3 Valiant trades for like $22. It was an incredible deal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He said, well, there's a theory online that basically when Batman sat in the Mobius chair, I don't know if you're aware of that, right? He revealed who the Joker was and everything like that.
Yeah.
One of the theories is that the comedian is actually one of the original Jokers.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
First of all, I love it that there's theories. People are excited enough to have theories about it. That the comedian's a Joker. Wow. That's amazing.
I like the concept. He like told it to me, and I was like, you know what, that it could make an interesting story, or they could really drop the ball with it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the concept.
I love the idea that people are excited about it, DC Comics again, and Rebirth is apparently delivering. I haven't read anything but the initial one shot,
Mhm.
But I'm excited that people are excited enough to go out and in-depth analyze it enough that they want to know um, what Dr. Manhattan created. And um, I think Batman sitting in the Mebius chair, uh, I said in our last Omnibros special that that was my top moment of 2016. And I stand by that because I thought that that was the most amazing reveal ever, that there were three Jokers. Spoiler alert for those of you that haven't finished Justice League yet.
Mhm.
That whole concept. And wait, wasn't Jeff Johns responsible for writing that too?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Um, that whole concept of turning those guys into new gods was just inspired. And that's another thing that um, that's the best meshing to me of the fourth Kirby's fourth world and the DC universe that has occurred, because when the fourth world was created, yes, I was there when fourth world was created. It sort of had a hard time fitting in with continuity, and they've always um, they've always tried to, you know, it used to be a separate thing almost.
Mhm.
Um, but when they it just meshed so well with Justice League. When okay, I'm blanking on his name. Who sits in the Mebius chair?
Oh, who sits in it? The Mobius chair.
Mobius chair.
Let me take a look real quick. I'll pull it up.
He wants out of it. You know, he wants to get out of that chair and get free of it, and Batman ends up
Metron?
sitting in it.
Is it Metron? I think that's the
Yeah,
guy's. I'm not
Metron.
sure.
That's exactly
Is
right.
it? Let me double check. Who sits in Mobius chair? But that was such a great that was such a great concept of creating, making these superheroes take the spot
New Gods.
of the new gods. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that's really good.
yeah, yeah. That is some Jeff Johns brilliance right there.
Yeah, it is Metron. It is Metron.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, that talk about taking something that's right in your face. Like, we've always looked at DC characters as like the gods. We have Superman, who's this god. We have Aquaman, who's the god of the ocean, and things like. Because more so than Marvel, DC characters, they fit in those roles a lot better.
yeah,
And Jeff Johns going, okay, well, let's make these guys the new gods. It's like, wow, yeah, of course, that makes sense.
yeah. And having Batman sit in the chair makes the absolute most sense.
Yeah, I remember when the news broke out, like Batman sits in the Mobius chair, and his question is, where does the Joker come from, or who is the Joker? And then him just being flabbergasted, like going, oh no, what? Like
Yeah,
being blown away by the news. I was like, wow, even in his position as a god, he's
yeah. He
still blown
loses his grip. He just goes no, no, no repeatedly, and
away.
hammering the chair, and he just can't believe it. And
Yeah.
I mean, to have Batman so stoic and to lose it over that, I thought was a brilliant moment.
I mean, I know there's a lot of purists out there that they go, no, Joker is just this guy who's chalk skinned and he's a psychopath. That's it. That's all we want. But it doesn't hurt to add a little bit to the mythos of it. You don't have to reveal his exact origin, but still,
Yeah,
let's see where it
I
goes.
mean, it explains a lot why he can't seem to die after.
That's
There's always speculation that The Killing Joke by Alan Moore is really Batman killing the Joker, and then in Scott Snyder's run, it looks like they both die.
mhm.
So why not say there are three? It's comic books. Let's go for it. I think that's
Yeah.
brilliant.
I think sticking to kind of such a closed-mindedness in comics, it hinders creativity. Let's go
Right.
nuts a little bit. Sometimes if you go nuts, you get some really great stuff. And that's part of the reason why I like Grant Morrison so much, because in a lot of ways, Grant Morrison, he'll go out there. He will
Yeah.
go way out there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the point is, he gives a damn enough to actually try and go for it.
Yeah, expanding on the concept of what the comic books can do, what comic
hmm
books are capable of. I totally agree with that. Absolutely. You absolutely cannot lose trying to expand the scope and what they mean. Absolutely agree with you.
Hmm. So, but I'm excited because, to bring this back around, I'm excited that Jeff Johns is coming back to comics. He really is one of the best writers, I think, in the past 10 years. The fact that he was away for so long, I haven't noticed that much of him being away simply because DC Rebirth has been kicking ass lately, and we've
Yeah.
had so many great titles. It's not like during the New 52 where it was like, okay, well, we've got Scott Snyder and Jeff Johns. New 52 is basically the Scott Snyder and Jeff Johns show. And there were a
Right.
few good titles here and there, but that was pretty much it.
Right.
But moving on to the next topic, Newsarama, and you are the one who's going to cover this one, has the list for their best of the year.
Yeah, they call it Best of Best Shots 2016 from Newsarama, and I'll drop Matthew Sibley's name. He's a member of the Omni Group page.
Mm-hmm.
Omni Group. Well, he's a member of the Omni Group. His reviews are in here, and I'll talk about it. But when each of the reviewers came up with silver, bronze, silver, and gold, and then item to watch in 2017. And I just noticed that some things more than others kept popping up. Like apparently Rebirth Detective Comics with Batman is just apparently a great read. And with James Tinian the Fourth, who has written, I'm familiar with his work, but apparently he is just crushing it. According to these guys, multiple reviewers say that Detective Comics is either silver, bronze, or gold, and that it is. Let's see. The quote here is: "Detective Comics is not only the greatest Batman book in DC's current lineup, it's also one of the greatest overall team books in mainstream comics today." That's pretty high praise for a book that did not do anything in the New 52. I read
Yeah.
Detective during the New 52, and it was pretty dull compared to
Yeah.
Scott Snyder's Batman. And now with Rebirth, they've apparently just ramped it up, and it is really great. And that's one thing that came out, stood out to me. The other one, another name that gets mentioned a lot as somebody to watch in 2017, or somebody that was crushing it in 2016, that is Tom King, who wrote The Vision, Sheriff of Babylon, and what else did he write? Omega Man. Yeah, only Omega Man. Yeah, I mean, for those three books to come out in 2016, those are three of the best books to come out in 2016, and one guy wrote them. And you just have to say hats off to Tom King, and can't wait to see what he's going to be doing in 2017.
Right.
And Matthew Sibley, our own Matthew Sibley, his remarks were, let me make sure I get it right. I don't think yeah, here we go. He was saying that Women of Marvel for 2016 were one of his favorite things. Hawkeye and Mockingbird were strong women. Black Panther has elevated its female characters to the point where they're to the point where Roxane Gay is writing their own book. So the female characters in Black Panther are getting their own
They are?
book. It says, yeah, meanwhile, Black Panther has elevated characters like Ayo and Aneka to the point where Roxane Gay is writing their own book in Black Panther World of Wakanda.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. I didn't even know that.
I think I just tossed the wrong page. Let's see.
Because I haven't read Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Panther yet, but I've heard.
I haven't either. But I also have heard great things about it. With a woman on art, Laura Kinney has given the new Wolverine name a renewed energy. Captain Marvel, Patsy Walker, Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. He raves about all of them. So he feels the Women of Marvel, Matthew does, were a real memorable part of 2016. And he sings the praises of one of my favorite series, and that's The Wicked and Divine. I love that series. Oh, you haven't read that?
No, have not read it yet.
Oh, you are definitely definitely in for a treat. That is one heck of a well-written and well-drawn book
Hmm.
with a lot of fun covers. It's fun to collect in singles because the covers are so fun. And he gives his gold award to Tom King of DC and Marvel, Vertigo. Has anyone seriously had a better year than Tom King? No, I'm serious. How many writers have previously stuck the landing to 3 tremendous series, Sheriff of Babylon, The Omega Man, and The Vision, capped off a stylish and sexy run on Grayson with Tim Seeley, including a mini event in Robin War, and then been given the keys to Gotham, writing DC's flagship title. Oh, and he's also got a page in this week's Love is Love anthology to cap it off. Simply put, Tom King is one of the most multifaceted writers in the industry today, and I have no idea what he's going to tackle next, and that's what's most exciting about him. So I appreciate Matthew a lot because whatever he recommends, I read. So that's high praise for him. And but I will mention before I mention the other things. His item to watch is the Legion TV show that's going to be on FX. And the
I'm so
reason,
excited for that.
yeah, the reason I want to mention it, this Matthew's young. I think he may still be in college or just out of college. He may still be taking classes, but he drops a reference about in his description of Legion and he says, from the glimpses we've been given thus far and Hawley's desire to make it like a Terrence Stamp movie from 1964, Legion has yeah. I was alive back then, but Matthew's parents probably weren't alive back then. How's he pulling a reference to a Terrence Stamp movie in '64? This kid is multifaceted himself to drop that reference. Legion has a visual style like nothing we've seen before. This, in conjunction with Fargo Season 2 being the finest season, blah, 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 indicates that Legion will not only be a series to watch, but one that you should be counting down the time until you can. So now I'm amped up for Legion.
I'm super excited for Legion.
Yeah, I now I am too.
We're getting an Omni next year with that character, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, this year, I think early spring we are. Yeah. Well, the Vision keeps getting mentioned throughout the whole. Lots of reviewers mention the Vision. 7 to Eternity gets a lot of love.
Such a good series.
Single by Rick Remender. And
we have to get a Vision hardcover. It has to happen.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it won't. And then the final 2 books that get a lot of love also is the Flintstones, which I know you rave about.
Yeah.
And I haven't read yet, and I can't wait for it to come out in trade. I'm just as excited as possible for the Flintstones.
Day 1 buy.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I can't wait. And then a lot of love for DC Rebirth Trinity, featuring the top 3, the Caped Crusader, the Blue Boy Scout, and Wonder Chick.
Wonder Chick.
I certainly wouldn't say that to her face. I can promise you that. But Trinity is apparently supposed to be a great read, and so I'm really excited about it. While the New 52 had some memorable runs and creative teams, it failed to establish DC's Trinity as the backbone of their universe. But with Rebirth, they've not only made headlines with their creative pairings, they've gotten back to something that was sorely missed before, telling good, cohesive stories that celebrate their characters rather than admonish them. And so apparently Trinity, with the 3 top characters, is apparently just a great book, and one that has been given a ton of love from Newsarama. And I trust a lot of the stuff that Newsarama writes as opposed to some of the other sites, because I think they actually read the books and can have actually, know how to write a review. So those are just the things I picked up on from Newsarama's Best of 2016.
I mean, we keep harping on this, but the fact is, like we said, this was, like Newsarama said, this was Tom King's year.
Yeah.
Some of the women in Marvel are being represented a lot more than they probably have ever had, and that is awesome. I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
Vision winning multiple awards. I still haven't read Vision. Have you?
Yeah, I've read it twice.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
How'd you feel? Did you think it ended strong?
Yeah, oh yeah. I loved the ending. I thought I it had a couple of twists at the end
Yeah.
that I didn't see coming. Um, it just I mean I didn't see it coming, and when I get an ending like that, that to me that is a great book. And then there's the final scene in it is another little twist that I didn't expect to see. So it starts strong, stays strong, and finishes strong. There is nothing wrong with that book. It
Mm.
is a perfect book, I think, because I live near the nation's capital in Washington D.C., and that's where the book is set, in the Northern Virginia suburbs, and that's where Tom King lives too, apparently. And he gets a lot of the little things right about what it's like to live in Northern Virginia, being like a bedroom community, su- suburban commuter place for people, politicos and lobbyists and stuff in DC. He gets a lot of those little things right, exactly right, and which tells me he pays great attention to detail. And I think that's one of the reasons why books like of Babylon and Vision are so good, because he's living them,
Right.
and he does a very good job of conveying his ideas on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vision, nothing wrong with that book at all. Everything's a 10 out of 10 in that book. I loved it.
I, and the thing is, I think he's only writing Batman now. So he's got to have. He's only writing Batman because Sheriff of Babylon is on a break right now, but we know it's coming back next year.
Oh,
They've
okay.
announced that. Yeah, we're getting another Sheriff of Babylon season because he's doing it by seasons. The first 12 issues is season one. The next 12 issues, I guess, will be season two. And
Oh,
we know we're getting that next year, but we don't know really what else we're getting from King next year. So that's exciting as well.
well, any guy that can churn out the three best books in 2016 has to be working on something besides Batman, I would
Mm-hmm.
think.
Well, yeah, he's. I think Tom King is what Jeff Johns was, what Scott Snyder was when they first came out, when they first broke out. That he is that it guy where
Yeah.
any book with his name on it, people are gonna flock to it right now, and they're just gonna eat it up. Scott Snyder, he's still that it guy as well, where he puts out a book. He just put out AD, which I've heard is actually really good with Jeff Lemire, and people will still flock to it and they'll still love it, but it's not to the level where it once was. Like, that fire has kind of died down. Okay, Scott Snyder, we've seen his stuff. We know what he's capable of. We know how he writes, things like that. Tom King is that guy right now.
Right. That really makes me happy that people are reacting to good writing, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to what I think in the 90s was people reacting to uh, art.
Artist. Yeah.
Yeah, when the artist was the main draw. We can have both things. We can have great art and great writing, and I really like that people are responding to great writing, like Tom King and Scott Snyder, and Jeff Lemire. He's another name. I mean, we could name names for the rest of the night, and because this is, I really think, as somebody that's lived comic books for the past 57 years, this is the golden age of comics. I mean, you can go into a comic book store and close your eyes and throw a dart, and you'll hit a good comic. There are
Yeah.
so many good writers out there, as opposed to growing up in the 60s. I mean, they are so much more sophisticated and interesting now, that
And
I'm glad that people are flocking to really good writing. That's a great sign.
now you're jumping on the Valiant train like everybody else.
Oh, God.
God help us all. God help us all, man.
What did we do? What did
I,
we do?
I realized I should have just shut up when we were ahead when we were talking about Valiant the other day, because now it seems like all the books are going out of print.
Who could have known there would be that reaction to our just saying we think 2017 is going to be the year of Valiant? Who could have known it would have caught fire? Nothing has caught fire like that before in the group in Facebook. I've been a member since the beginning, and I've never seen anything like it. You
I'm gonna
know,
look. I'm gonna look on Amazon real quick, see what's out of print for Valiant
oh, I
today.
can tell you right now. Rye,
Harbinger is getting there. Ninjak is available for pre-order. I'm gonna have to pre-order that.
Rye, Bloodshot, Archer and Armstrong, and Book of Death are the four that are out of print. Deluxe
Harbinger
edition.
Wars. Harbinger Wars is about to go out. It looks like it's about to go out of print too. It's low in stock.
Oh, is that
Armor
right?
Armor Hunters is low in stock on Amazon.
Mm.
I can't. Quantum and Woody Deluxe Edition Volume 1, low in stock.
Now that one's out of stock on IST. I had to
Is
get
it?
Quantum and Woody from Amazon. Yeah.
Archer and Armstrong Deluxe Edition, that's out of stock, and it's going for $95. Oh my gosh. Once again, shout out to Eric for picking that one up for me.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, I'm sorry. Ivar the
Yeah.
Time Walker Deluxe Edition, low in stock. All these are low in stock. What is going on?
Well, I don't know. I would look at I would look at what you can't get an idea of what IST has going on because they don't do it like Amazon does with only 13 left in stock. I ordered some books this past weekend and had no problem getting. Well, I couldn't get the out of print books, but I couldn't get Quantum and Woody, but everything else they had in stock at in stock trades. So I don't know. Here's a real test. Let's see if some of the Valiant books pop up into the top 10 on IST, and we'll see if
That'll be interesting.
yeah, maybe we can see if we can push some of the Valiant books into the top 10.
I'm telling you, if that happens, I'm contacting the CEO of Valiant saying, let's make a deal. Let's do something.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Hey, they sponsor other YouTube channels.
Who, Valiant does?
Valiant sponsors a lot of other YouTube channels.
Hmm.
Some of the bigger YouTube channels are sponsored by Valiant right now. Comic Story and Comics Explained, they're sponsored by Valiant right now. Or they were a few months ago when I was watching their shows.
Wow, that's interesting. The only two shows I watch are your show and Riley's show.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. I don't know the YouTube universe as well as you do.
In fact, they had those guys come out to Valiant headquarters a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
they did a show out there.
Where is Valiant headquarters? Do you know?
I'm not entirely sure, but I know the CEO for Valiant, he's pretty good at getting back to people because somebody tweeted to him this past week on our Facebook group asking him, hey, are there any chances of reprints for the deluxe edition of the Valiant coming out? And he said, no, but we've got something else planned. So I'm like, omnibus or absolute edition, maybe? We'll see what happens.
Did you know he's a member of the group now?
Wait, what?
The Valiant CEO? Yeah.
When?
Over the weekend, somebody just approved him.
It's
really it's really him.
Oh shit!
I know.
Okay.
And now he's seeing all this Valiant love on the page. If he's actually reading the page, I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah, I didn't approve him because I'm so bad at approving people. They don't let me do it. I'm not good at spotting trolls like Lewis McGregor and some of the other guys are. But so somebody approved him and said, check it out. And it had his Facebook page and everything. So it was really him. And,
wow.
Yeah, he's a member of the group just in time to see this Valiant wildfire spread in the group.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can reach out to us. I would love to do a deal with him. I mean, you never know. You never know.
No, why not?
Stuff happens like that all the time. Man, but really, I didn't, we've gone off topic a little bit, but I really did not expect this to catch fire like it did from a 5-minute conversation.
Was it even 5 minutes? I mean, I think we just said what we thought was going to be. I mean, I banged the drum for Dr. Mirage because I love that Dr. Mirage book a lot. I've read that twice already. And I banged the drum, and then you and Riley said 2017 year of Valiant, and that was kind of it. And it just exploded. Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen anything like that with so many people. People give me credit for selling copies of Irredeemable here and there, but it was like every single person was talking about Valiant starting on Friday all the way through today.
Yeah.
So
I'm super excited. I can't wait to start diving into this because we will see. I mentioned it about doing a weekly Valiant show, but the fact is I've got so much on my plate as it is, so we'll see how that goes.
But yeah, I'm excited to start it too.
But if anything, I'm getting a bunch of deluxe edition hardcovers of Valiant in the mail, so definitely look out for reviews for that. So that's going to be up soon.
Awesome.
But yeah, to close it out, we've got one more news story, and that is going to be okay. If you guys saw on the Omni Bros Live, we pretty much took Civil War II behind the woodshed and beat it to death. Oh my God. Okay.
I haven't read it. Full disclosure, I know nothing about it. I haven't read it. So this is your segment.
All right, kids. So Civil War II has been Marvel's recent big non-event event where almost nobody gave a flying crap about what was going on in Civil War II. Riley talked about it last week. I talked about it last week. It had tie-ins that weren't even really tie-ins. It was just a mess. Civil War II has been garbage all around. So in Civil War II, it ended this past week, and we finally get to see Iron Man's fate in Civil War II. Bum, 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 you know? So yeah, for those of you that give a crap about Civil War II, all three of you, I'm pretty sure. Let me pull up the news article. Where is it?
Now, you're not going to get Marvel to sponsor us with that kind of attitude.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. I'm pretty sure. Marvel doesn't look at my show. And if they do, then I'm so sorry for that Spider-Verse hardcover. Well, no, I'm not sorry. They should put together a better collection. Where the hell is it? Ah, there it is. Found it. Okay, Iron Man's fate revealed in Civil War II finale. And this is coming off of IGN. Several pro-Civil War II comics have strongly hinted that Tony Stark died in his final battle with Captain Marvel. The truth, as it turns out, is a little more complicated than that. Carol did defeat Tony in one-on-one combat, destroying his massive armor and leaving Tony in severely injured comatose state. So yeah, they're doing the coma thing. Okay, comic strip. However, Tony isn't dead. Wow. After examining his body, Beast isn't sure exactly what's going on with the fallen Avenger. Beast noted that Tony has apparently been experimenting on his own body for years. This has allowed Tony to survive what should have been certain death, but even the greatest minds in the Marvel Universe aren't sure if he'll recover or his body might evolve when he does. Okay.
His body might evolve?
Yeah. Okay. I know. So this comes straight from it. Okay, B says, if I had to guess, for years, I'm hardly one to point a finger, though whatever this is, it's the only thing keeping his body alive, but I'm going to have to dig a lot deeper into this before I can get back to you on this condition. I'm scared even to draw blood, but hey, at least he saved you from being the woman who killed Tony Stark. Talking directly to Carol Danvers, and the whole world went... Bendis. Mike Bendis. Okay, this reeks to me because Tony's fate got leaked months ago. Like, people knew Tony was gonna die months and months and months ago, and then all of a sudden they announced, "Well, we've got one more issue. This story is so big we can't possibly contain it and keep it in just 7 issues. We have to expand it to one more." Don't give me that bullshit, Marvel. Okay. My guess is it got leaked that Tony was gonna die, and this is just me being crazy pants conspiracy theory guy. It got leaked that Tony was gonna die, so Marvel went, well, shit, there goes our ending. So Bendis cooked up something at the last second again. He's not dead. He's not dead. You know how Bendis talks. He's in a comatose state. So I'm like, okay, I don't care. I don't care. I can't.
So that's it. He's the story ends with Iron Man just in a coma.
Pretty much.
That's it?
Yeah, basically. That's Iron Man is in a coma and Carol Danvers feels bad about it.
Now, what about, where are we with the Iron Man that's the Iron Woman? Is there an Iron Woman now?
Yeah, Riri Williams has taken over the mantle of Iron Man, and she has a version of Tony Stark plugged into the Iron Man suit because he apparently like downloaded his consciousness, or he made a program. I haven't read the series. He made a program that has his intelligence and his wittiness, and basically his whole intelligence and his personality is inside the suit, and it's coaching her
while she's in the suit.
While she's in the suit, yeah.
Okay.
I've actually heard that Bendis' Iron Man run hasn't been that bad. It's been pretty good in his defense, but Bendis should not do events.
Mm. Well, I'm a fan of his, but I don't know Marvel events like you do.
Hmm.
So, but I like a lot of his stuff.
Oh, he's not. Bendis gets a lot of shit. I give him that. But he's written a Daredevil. His Daredevil
Oh
is
yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
Like one of the best things that I've ever read. His Daredevil is amazing. Alias, amazing. Both
yeah.
great stories. I think he's more of a stronger crime writer than anything else, though.
Right, I agree with that. He's a great crime writer.
It's kind of like Ed Brubaker, where Ed Brubaker is great at crime spy stories, and he pretty much just sticks to crime and spy stories because
Mm-hmm.
that's his thing. That's what he's good at. I would like to see him expand his scope a little bit more, but at the same time, I'm kind of afraid of like maybe Ed Brubaker's just that guy where he gets crime and spy stories, and
Yeah,
once he starts venturing out of there, it kind of is like, it's not as strong as his other stuff.
right. So Iron
So
Man's in a coma. Okay.
Iron Man is in a coma. Everybody yawned, and the rest of the Marvel universe bleeped into the next whatever bullshit event they've got going on right
Are there too many events for Marvel?
now. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I personally think so. I mean, there's a new event. We had Civil War 2 and we had Death of X at the same time, and pretty much everybody went with a resounding. Nobody
Yeah,
really cared, you know. And when you think back on it, the original Civil War was huge. It was
right.
massive, and it culminated with Captain America dying. That made news. Like it was on Stephen
Right.
Colbert. It was all over the news. Like CNN was reporting it. You know, it was crazy, and it seemed like they were trying to capture that lightning again, and nothing.
Yeah, they went back to the well once too often.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going on. But thoughts on the comatose Tony Stark? Anything?
My thoughts?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I have none. I haven't read it. I've been told not to read it, and so I'm not going to read it. The fact that he's just left in a coma sort of just leaves me hanging. I'd like to know what's going on. I guess they're not going to kill him off. So, uh, no, I'm sorry,
No,
hardcover.
it's
I don't
fine.
have any thoughts on it because I haven't read it.
It's fine. I want to hear what Riley has to say because he said
Oh
he's gonna
boy,
yeah, he says he's gonna sit down this week and he's gonna read through all 8 issues of Civil War 2 and he's gonna give us his thoughts on Thursday's show, which I'm just gonna sit down and just soak it in because Riley's just gonna be.
yeah.
I have a feeling he's gonna be fuming when he's like, "This is stupid."
At the ending, he's going to be
Yeah,
fuming. Yeah,
probably.
I think he's going to be breathing fire Thursday night.
Watch him love it. I'm like, what?
I don't know. He's hated it so far.
Yeah, for those of you that didn't catch the conclusion of the Omnis, we all went on probably a 10-minute rant on just beating the shit out of Civil War. Riley especially. I'm like, wow, he didn't even finish it and he hated it.
Well, I didn't because I haven't read it, but I found it highly interesting and amusing to watch you guys slag it.
You have the most unique, you have been gifted. The gods have blessed you with the ability to dodge every single, like, everything that's terrible regarding mainstream media, comics. You have been able to dodge it all for some reason.
Somehow I have. Yeah, I don't
90s
know.
comics, it's like you avoided that entire era of 90s comics. You're like, yeah, I'm not reading. I'm going to take a sabbatical until the 2000s.
I read I read some stuff in the 90s, but not like at the rate I'm reading them now. But I
Yeah,
did read some stuff in the 90s. Yeah, I've been lucky. I've avoided a lot of crap.
lucky. I've I've caught more bullets than I've missed. And in all honesty, once we hit, because I know we're gonna hit it eventually. It's gonna be a while, but once I hit the $150 mark, where I'm gonna be taking requests from you guys, and I have to review at least once a month a request. Oh God.
Oh, someone's gonna hang you out to dry.
Oh, I'm fully expecting some terrible shit coming my way. I'm fully expecting some real bad stuff coming my way.
Be careful
We
what
want,
you wish for.
we want you to read the X-Force omnibus. No, God, no. Don't make me do it. Ugh. Do you have the 90s X-Force omnibus?
I do not.
You don't? Wow, I'm surprised.
No, I don't. X-Force. That was the thing that Rob Liefeld drew, right?
Yep, the
With no
90s
feet
omnibus.
and all the weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I never felt compelled to read that. I don't know.
Did you get the Clone Saga omnibus? Or you dodged that one
No,
too, didn't you?
I dodged that one too. Yeah. Geo is the one that warned me away from that.
See, folks, there are books that we won't even read. The Clone Saga omnibus, I think, was like the true, yeah, we won't read this. That and Absolute DC, Absolute Year One.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't bother to buy that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was an awful lot of money for a very small book.
But they printed it twice.
I, I know.
Once on the original paper. Don't you want the original paper?
Yeah, that's stretching it. That is corporate greed right there. That is stretching it.
Oh, that was terrible. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I want to wish everybody a very happy new year. This has been the weekly news show that we put on together for you guys. This is, for those of you that are our patrons at the $1 level, this is going to be your one video for the month. For those of you that are $1 level, I always give you one video a month. And this is going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Jess, as always, it's been a pleasure. These shows are fun. Thank you so much for having patience, because I know I've kept pushing back this show because it's been so crazy lately.
It's been fine.
But
Thank you for having me on.
this news show and the live stream on Thursdays have become like the highlight of my week. It's so much fun doing this stuff with you guys.
It is fun doing this. I totally enjoy it.
All right, but I'm gonna let you go, guys. Have a great night, everyone. And yeah, thanks again, patrons. You keep this show going, and I can't wait to see what's gonna happen in the new year. Bye.